Yo, Joe! Happy 4th of July. Let's celebrate America Day with some real American heroes from an underrated thrill ride.
Just ordinary Joes who won't let you push these people around.
Your favorite Catmander catastrophe at your service. And when I'm not covertly gaslighting the public into giving me money to genetically engineer an armada to conquer your planet, I'm passing time with some wacky reviews. I love G.I. Joe Renegades. As a part of the lucky gen who grew up with the legendary Hub network, we had some underappreciated masterpieces, which introduced newbies like me to iconic classics. Now, I did not grow up watching anything G.I. Joe until this series came on. Renegades was my and many other rookies' entryway into the vast world of G.I. I know there's a ton of division among veteran Joe fans over this cartoon's quality, but I very much enjoy and defend it as a great series. Now yes, the show's far from platinum metal, and not as great as Transformers Prime, The Haunting Hour, My Little Pony, or even the 80s G.I. Joe tune, but I think it's a rare success at giving newbie viewers like me a radical intro to a boss action adventure, and modernizing an old gem in a sleek way. I would have never gotten into G.I. Joe without this series, since it's legit good, and has more positives than negatives. Thanks to Renegades, I've grown to love tons of Joe content, and see what the fan base admires so much about our American heroes. G.I. Joe shows off how great our fighting men and women are. Cobra Commander's a gnarly cartoon baddie, the action's intense, the storytelling's so fun, the banter's charming, the retro good versus evil style still holds up, Snake Eyes is awesome, Baroness and Lady J are sexy waifu material, and best of all, it rewards kids with inspirational heroes who do good for the sake of being good. Something we need more of.
How can we repay you?
Don't worry about us. We got everything we need.
Now, a few superfans do take issue with Renegades, namely over its premise, as it feels more like an A-Team animated series rather than a G.I. Joe show. I'll confess that, yeah, it's different, and does have that A-Team feel. Heck, Roadblock is practically Mr. T.
And I love it when a plan comes together.
However, just because it's different doesn't equal bad. The show gradually grew into the G.I. Joe we all know and love. Characters were developing into their traditional roles. Cobra was 100% just as evil as they are in every G.I. Joe media. And the series was not afraid to embrace that balance between over-the-top 80s fun and hardcore violence. Say what you will about changing the lore, but it's very much a sweet time, with endless love for the G.I. roots. Plus, it was equally as dark, if not darker than the 80s tune. Renegades had some twisted nightmares, which almost rivals The Haunting Hour.
I read Breaker's blog. Everyone in the company does, but that doesn't mean...
My new pet suspects you are lying.
Jesus smuffing Christ!
I miss these shows. For those who don't know, G.I. Joe Renegades follows an unlikely band of soldiers going on grim, deadly missions while on the run from the law. Accused of a crime they didn't commit, a ragtag bunch of fugitives fights a covert battle to clear their names and expose the insidious enemy that is Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Some call these mercs outlaws, some call them heroes, and this is their story. The new Cobra interpretation is actually a deeply undercover militia of supervillains masquerading as a caring, compassionate, Apple-esque corporation, secretly building up an empire in order to, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
The Joes are at first brought in to investigate Cobra, but their simple mission goes horribly awry, where the evil corpos frame them as the true evildoers, when a battle results in them blowing up a Cobra facility in Springfield.
Yeah, what state?
So the Joes become renegades, falsely accused vigilante heroes whom the Globe views as evil, on the run from both the law and Cobra themselves, as they endure a mass conspiracy-style spy saga, attempting to save the day, and help many poor souls along the way. Which is our main plot. We have Duke, the leader, Scarlet, the smart girl, Snake Eyes, the mute badass ninja extraordinaire, Roadblock, the big guy, and Tunnel Rat, who's Rat Trap.
Point is, we got each other.
And we have my paranoia. Thank you, which saved our butts. Again.
As much as I'd love to see the both of you scrap yourselves, save it for my birthday.
Plus many other colorful heroes and villains on the side. While some may feel the series departed the total Star Wars warfare style the franchise is famous for, I truly enjoy it, and seek to share with you some grand epics which made it a smash hit. Let's see if we can recruit more into a grandiose saga that gave our servicemen and women a good name. These are my top 6 best Renegades tales.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Tomax.
And I am Zaymot. We are the Brothers of Light.
Starting us out on a low-key creepy one. As an avid horror fan, I can't help but always feature a scary tale on my countdown list. And I think this one's easily the spookiest, on a show which aired alongside The Haunting Hour. The Renegades encounter a dazed and disturbed woman lost on the road, but when they return her to what they think is her home, they only uncover a secret, scary cult commune run by an elusive pair of twins, Tomax and Zaymot. That's right, the twin terrorists from Classic Joe return, but are granted a much more sinister revamp. Tomax and Zaymot were fun, cartoonish supervillains from the classic G1 G.I. Joe, but this entry reimagines them as super eerie, ominous con men who use their twin telepathy to run a cult kingdom, draining their victims of all their wealth, money, and freedom. The Joes are tricked into trusting the dark duo, but slowly begin falling prey to the cult themselves, leading to a properly paranoid Tunnel Rat and Snake Eyes into saving the day, before their friends are lost forever. T-Rat was initially my least favorite Joe, but his heroics here quickly won me over. Plus, seeing even the wicked Snake Eyes struggle shows you how bad things spiral. This is a good old-fashioned, creepy cult episode, as the Crimson City's an effectively ominous shrine to the twin egos. It teaches kids to be wary of things which seem too good to be true. T-Rat gets some much-needed screen time, proving that he can save the team by himself. And naturally, Tomax and Zaymot are very unsettling, horror-ish foes. Steven Stanton can't outdo the 80s bros, but he really plays up his inner boogeyman. These two always had a fun dynamic in past media, and I think our modern series here did a fantastic job at reminding you how lethal the twins truly are. I enjoy how they get their mental powers further explored. We see the pair as far more menacing than greedy, and the finishing each other's sentences trait is just as fun as ever.
You are an island, alone in the darkness. Come, be with your friends. There is no point in running. Where will you run?
Ah, what have we here? A lovely nocturnal prowler. Let's get her!
Though what makes this tale stand out to me is that it feels like a full-blown horror movie. The Joes getting mind-raped by the twins is played up as twisted. T-Rat slowly losing his pals one by one until he stands alone carries dramatic weight. The sheer monstrous side of the twins is Cobra-level evil, and the cult mentality is haunting. It feels like something akin to Children of the Corn or The Wicker Man, to say nothing about the dark twist ending. Like, wow, you are in for a Halloween treat. If you want to scare people away from cults, then this is how you do it. An episode so enlightening, it formed Tomax and Zaymot into horror monsters.
The lambs dare not stray without being punished by their lords!
Welcome to the arena of sport.
If there was any doubt over G.I. Joe handling mature or dead serious topics, then this is the episode which proves all naysayers wrong. Busted is about something you'd never expect in a silly kiddie show. Critiques and the takedown of a corrupt prison. In this tale, while trying to buy some car parts from a chop shop, Duke gets captured alongside some Fast and Furious rejects and shipped to a corrupt jailhouse, where all the guards, including the warden, are dirty cops, forcing the prisoners to fight in cage matches for sport, leading to the ultimate prison break as the other Joes need to bust their buddy out. Willist also exposing a shady operation going on underneath what's supposed to be a house of justice. Now, I'll admit, we've seen darker stuff on cartoons before, but for G.I. Joe, this is something that really catches you off guard. Our American heroes are actually fighting to expose an illegal abuse of power and dirty cops on a family show. How do you not appreciate that? Plus, this is not played for laughs. The warden is a despicable sociopath who's literally profiting off all this, as the fights have a gambling ring connected to them, and when he eventually faces the music, he goes off the rails by trying to silence everyone to save his sorry arse. Not exactly a scheme comparable to Cobra forms a rock band.
My audience doesn't bet on one-sided bouts. So unless you want to be turned over to the MPs, or maybe shot while trying to escape, you'll give me a better show next time.
Law and Order from the G.I. Joe movie, the good one, also cameo in this, and do a pretty amusing job establishing the larger Joe-niverse. If you don't know, Renegades would actually grant other minor characters from G.I. Joe bit roles or cameos to build up and have fun with the franchise's notable heroes and villains. The old guard and his mutt are much better attempts, since he's the one who learns a lesson about standing up for what's right, even when surrounded by wrong.
Why don't you stop them?
I haven't been here much longer than you, and there's a lot of them. And only one of me. Those are lousy odds.
Story of my life. But if ordinary Joes like us don't fight the good fight, who will?
Plus, we at last get to see Flint, the hero antagonist, tasked with hunting the Renegades, genuinely be a badass, as he surprisingly is competent here and holds his own in a fight. I truly wish we got to see more of Flint and Lady J kicking butt, since these two were my favorites from the old show, and they're underrated on this era.
Anything important, Sergeant?
They're all important, Lieutenant. That's why I sift through every single lead, so you don't have to.
I'm here if you need me.
And yet I still show up to work.
I love her. Though what fans love most in this episode is Scarlett's absolutely hilarious. The redhead is the butt of many jokes, blunders at her attempts to bust Duke out, and nobody can forget her disguise as Baby Mama Scarlett. That's just pure gold. And as you can predict, big epic action battle, where a jailbreak blows up into an all-out war, which is always a solid trademark of G.I. Joe. Solid action, action, solid atmosphere, solid character writing, solid take on a serious theme for kids, solid world building, solid villains, solid humor, and one heck of a prison break. Busted is a tale which deserves more praise.
Anything you want to say, Grunt?
Yes, ma'am. What are you gonna name the baby?
Come on, Zartan. Was that really necessary?
You know the drill, Sheriff. I keep looking the other way, and before I know it, the Dreadnoks will get bored with my jerkwater bird, and I can go back to scarfing down jelly donuts full-time.
Typically, anti-bullying episodes are not always portrayed very well on TV, but I was genuinely flabbergasted at how great G.I. Joe's shot hit. While some may blow this villain debut off as nothing super special, I think what makes it worthy of my list is that this is the first Renegades episode to truly feel like it captures the spirit of the Gen 1 Joe show. A small, quiet mountain town full of innocent folks playing nice and trying to simply live peacefully are targeted and often harassed by a douchey gang of low-life thugs known as the Dreadnoks, led by none other than the dastardly dick Zartan.
You were expecting maybe Spider-Man?
Yep, high-profile Cobra agent Zartan debuts on Renegades here to basically act as our fiendish idiot bully. While I do think it's a slight step back, how this antagonist, most famous for being a master of disguise saboteur, is now just a scuzzy biker picking on weaklings and imitates their voices like a prick, isn't nearly as cool as his superior counterparts. It does do a decent job at gifting all a satisfying anti-bully moral. This is in character for Zartan, as the ruffian did start out as a Hell's Angels biker before graduating to a lethal Cobra minion, yet the overarching story is why I like it. Zartan and his idiots are terrorizing this peaceful town, savior style, leading to, of course, a Joe intervening and teaching a vital lesson for all ages, that when diplomacy fails, you need to fight back. I want to mention this episode in particular precisely because that's a great moral we need to teach folks, that sometimes a person is just too cruel or irredeemable to reason with, so you gotta stand up for yourself, grow a spine, or learn to hit back, because a bully won't stop unless you make them.
Hey, back in Brooklyn, I had a brother used to keep the bullies off my back. All it did was get me beat up worse when he wasn't around.
Yes, thank you. What are you doing?
Bullies didn't back down till my bro taught me how to defend myself.
The Joes also helped this weak-willed sheriff grow his balls back by showing him how you can't cower and keep your head in the sand forever, because if you don't take a stand now, then you'll lose more than your pride, as Zartan and his goons go so far as to declare war on the town to make sure they hold power over them, making it all the more juicy when the heroes and the once weak townsfolk boot those bitches in their place. It's more or less a love letter for the Seven Samurai, but a very slick tribute. Though if you're worried about Zartan not being as cool as his traditional variants, don't fret. This is only his debut story, as he does return later, and this episode more than enough makes up for it by straight up hinting that Zartan might be a serial killer.
Oh, come on. Give me something to work with here. What's the fun of torturing you if I can't imitate your screams? You can't just strong-arm some people. You have to own them. That's why I always grab a little piece. Their stuff. Their voice.
Makes you kinda worry over how his siblings Xander and Zorana are treated in this realm. The sole negative I do have with it, though, is I don't know which Joe teammate the sheriff's supposed to be. The officer we follow gets a ton of character development, and his story arc of standing up for himself made me believe this might be Lifeline, but I don't know enough to win this debate battle. Regardless, this is a wonderful episode, which we need more of on family pictures. How only you can stop bullying, because sometimes it's justified to smack back. Admit it, seeing those pricks get knocked off their high Harleys is oh so gnarly. A kick-ass side quest, a mature approach to a good teaching, epic street fighting, a tribute to classic tropes and even retro G.I. Joe, plus a solid debut to a dark villain. Dreadnoks Rising is one ride you're never too tall or short to enjoy.
Look at that. A hole full of stupid.
You want the true face of Cobra? It will be the very last thing you see.
This is the mission where things get real. The Wham episodes. Homecoming is another two-parter for the show, where massive story progression, plot turns, and character backstories come to fruition, as this is the mid-season point. Cobra finally strikes back, and they strike hard. Desperate for a win against the villainous snakes, the Joes embark on their most serious trial yet, uncovering the secrets behind Cobra Corps' mysterious CEO, Adam de Cobre, only to discover how powerful the terrorists truly are once de Cobre reveals himself face to face with his enemy as the terrifying Cobra Commander. It's here where the show cements its footing as an epic and has the stakes raised higher than before. It's Christmas time, but the happy holidays doesn't prevent Cobra from unleashing the venom. The Joes managed to break into the evil tech's Christmas party to finally dig up some dirt on the hidden puppet master, pulling all the strings, only to get more than what they bargained for once the commander gets involved. Cobra Commander and the Baroness are 100% stepping in the ring now, and the kitty gloves come off here. Before this, the Joes were nothing more than a minor nuisance to them, but once they became an actual threat, the villains pull no punches. Cobra Commander goes after their families, uses loved ones as bargaining chips, flexes his reach over the outnumbered heroes, attempts to assassinate those pesky grunts multiple times, and even side villains like the Baroness and Storm Shadow come dangerously close to murdering our troops. The Joes are absolutely put through the ringer in this event, almost losing Duke's parents, can't escape Cobra's radar, struggle to gain their evidence, barely endure all the life-threatening attacks, and even get arrested by Flint and Lady J. Talk about unrelenting war. The Joes begin taking cracks in their armor too, with our brave leader slipping. It gets so bad that Duke's kid brother even hates him now for all the ugliness they've suffered because of his frame-up.
Just stay away from us, Duke. I see you around, Mom and Dad. I swear I'll turn you in myself.
Easily the harshest wound the Renegades survive. But what places it high for me is that we finally gain some backstory for a lot of the underutilized Joes. This tale gives us Duke's origin, from all-American boy with his whole life ahead of him, to poor wash-up, to sad soul, to hardened soldier, to loose cannon told never to be a hero. Seeing how our soldier boy became the noble man forced to suffer he is now. My favorite parts being is we also see how Duke became friends with his rival Flint and the ever so lovely Lady J. Oh, Lady J.
Even Cobra can't ruin your looks.
There's a soldier who always makes me stand at attention. In seriousness, this is a great mid-season finale because so many characters get proper attention and depth, both hero and foe. By this point, the Renegades truly begin to shine as real well-rounded characters. The villains demonstrate why they are a force to dread, the spy missions escalate to unforgiving war, and there's a strong sense of mature storytelling as it never talks down to kids, but humanizes these action figures as people. It's also got some of the best action of the series too, as we have Contra missions, tense heists, drone strikes, explosions, ninjutsu action, and even a train fight. The show also got the OG voices of Duke and Scarlet, Michael Bell and BJ Ward to guest star as Duke's parents, acting as a cute passing of the torch tribute. What's not to love? I know many will argue that the Snake Eyes two-parter's superior, but this one I prefer more, because it made me care about characters I never thought I'd love. Wicked combat, dark drama, decent character growth, showcasing everyone in the limelight, and reminding you all why Cobra Commander is a venomous bastard. Homecoming's one action-packed Christmas.
Observe, Baroness. With the mere push of a button, I have just accomplished what you and your endless minions could not. That is why I am Commander.
You're late.
Do not press your luck, Baroness. Just tell me about the assassin.
You know it's not a true best G.I. Joe anything without including Snake Eyes. Despite the fan-fave return of the Arashikage being glorious gold, this is the one I cherish more, thanks to being a great wrap-up for all the ninja plotlines. While on another mission to expose those serpents, Snake Eyes and Scarlet stumble upon a villain civil war, as somebody's attempting to assassinate the Cobra Commander. Unfortunately, the hired killer is Snake Eyes' former pupil, Jinx, who the heroes wish to save from the dark side. Yep, Jinx and Storm Shadow return, now on opposing sides of the war once again. Destro makes another power play against his boss, and hires Jinx, who's now head of the fiendish Arashikage Yakuza clan, to kill the commander, while ironically Decobre hires Storm Shadow to protect him, putting them at odds with one another. To make things crazier, Snake Eyes and Scarlet step in to help Jinx redeem herself before it's too late, leading into why this is a better episode than their two-parter. All the primary ninjas are on screen, and we see a surplus of martial arts on full display. Snake Eyes is easily the best of the core protagonists, but because he's a mute masked man, we never learn too much about him. However, whenever Storm Shadow and Jinx are included in the narrative, it allows Snake to reveal more persona and depth by bouncing off of them. Storm Shadow's a cool, creepy, ghost-like warrior as always, but Jinx finally graduates to her badass self in this one, as she gets to upgrade into a skilled tech ninja, trouncing the Cobra forces like nothing. Plus, she at last grows up into a better woman, finding her path towards becoming a great warrior like she is in the movie. Ultimately, this is the grand finale to all the Arashikage arcs, as the ninja trio get redeemed in the end, which makes the moment where all of them work together to combat Destro's battle android troopers all the more magnificent. I love Jinx seeing the error of her ways and reforging herself into a noble person, and was actually shocked that Storm Shadow turns good too, upon realizing that he was the true villain. But you all know why this is a huge fave. All three ninjas working back to back in a grand epic death battle, slaughtering super Terminators with nothing but their warrior arsenal. Now that's black belt mastery of animation.
That looks entertaining. Oh, yeah.
Plus, seeing all the Cobra personnel bickering with each other and flexing some skills is pure joy too. Even Zartan comes back playing decoy for the boss snake. Villain civil wars are insane, but as I said, it's so great seeing finality and resolution towards the ninja cast, because they earned it. Jinx didn't even need her lucky blindfold to succeed. Real spiffy art, rockin' ninja moves, a love for action galore, and more spotlight on the 3 best characters of Renegades, Cutting Edge lives up to its name.
Technology is the future of the Arashikage, and I will only look forward.
Before we reach our number 1, here's a few honorary mentions.
Pathetic. You truly believed that an organization as vast and powerful as Cobra could be brought to its knees by a handful of ordinary Joes?
This is it, troops. The Last Stand. The grand finale. G.I. Joe taking the fight to Cobra. In spite of the series being short-lived and having a huge overarching plot, which many assumed would be a never-ending war between all heroes and villains, Revelations ended up an ultra-satisfying conclusion to Renegades. Believe it or not, even with one and only one season, the finale stuck the landing perfectly. Cobra preps for its ultimate endgame, forging a super powerful teleportation machine known as the Mass Device, which can transport legions of their synthetic soldiers and unstoppable forces across anywhere on Earth, finally fulfilling their goal of taking over the world.
I want it all.
Naturally, only G.I. Joe is there, fighting to save the day, as they never give up fighting over land and air. Secrets are revealed, character arcs come to a close, it's merciless war, all cast members get to be badass. And the best part, Cobra Commander finally steps in to finish the Joes off himself in his final boss mode. It's ballistic. This was back in the day when showrunners were warned when their series was facing cancellation, which luckily allowed the staff to use the time they had to grant their series a satisfying finale, which checks off all the major points. There are still some loose plot threads we never got more on, such as what happened to some major villains and blatant sequel bait, but I won't deny that this finale didn't disappoint. Scarlet and Duke gain the character growth they need and absolutely morph into their true selves from the 80s era. The action's far more bombastic. The villains are at their most sick. The battle at the Cobra Mansion feels like a scary final level. The cast suffers breaches in the plot armor. We score a worthy blaze of glory after a season of build-up, and even David Kaye guest stars.
Yes.
But I believe the true MVP is the Cobra Commander. If there's any question if the Commander isn't a phenomenal villain, on par with friggin' Megatron and Shredder, well, this shows you why he's a wicked legend. CC's a total final boss, rides around in his ironmonger suit, evil monologues, and finally dishes a brutal duel against his archenemy Duke.
Your name's Duke, the Cobra.
And you will address me as Commander. Cobra Commander.
Charlie Adler voices the Commander, and this is without argument one of his greatest performances. He captures the slimeball, creepy fascist persona superbly well, is over-the-top fun, and even sounds faintly like the late Chris Latta. Adler was such a good voice for the icon that he was actually brought back to play him on this show thanks to doing such an incredible job at being him over on the miniseries G.I. Joe Resolute.
For too long, I have entrusted the elimination of my enemies to mere underlings. But an effective leader must set the example for his troops. Work with me, and I will give you the world in less than 24 hours. Work against me, and I will gut you like a fish.
Now that's an S-tier snake. The finale has always been my favorite fable of this show, precisely because it succeeds at being a finale. The Renegades arc is at last wrapped up, our heroes come out on top, troubled characters evolve into true nobles, the team's united, after eluding capture so many times, the villains all score their comeuppance, the Joes foil a world-ending Cobra scheme, and they at last clear their names, earning a long overdue happy ending. My sole complaint is we never got a season 2. The commanders exposed and survived this ordeal, vowing revenge, but it's never followed up on.
I will avenge this insult!
Wish we got more, but at least we got a happy bookends. I cannot recommend this two-parter highly enough, because it makes watching the series as a whole so worthwhile. Radical artwork, impressive warfare violence, James Bond level baddies, awe-inspiring heroes, and an epic battle between titans. Revelations is the #1 Renegade story.
Let's cut the head off this snake, once and for all.
And so completes my list. What do you think, troops? Love it? Hate it? What are your favorite war stories? Feel free to report down low. I'm your kitty cat Mander, and I wish you all a happy 4th of July.
Yo, Joe! He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra, the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose? To defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe, the American hero. G.I. Joe.
What are you gonna name the baby?